After processing the fact that someone called the police on me, believe it or not, this has never happened to me in my life. I tweeted back, I wrote, "Officer, I'd like to report a joke." She tweets. After she saw it, she tweeted, "ABC contacts my employer. This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police." She called the police. On our show Tuesday night, MTG, Clan Mom as we call her, earlier in the day, called 3 of her fellow Republicans pro-pedophile for supporting Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination.
Marjorie Taylor Greene dialed 911, but it wasn't for an emergency. Nope, she called the cops on a joke. You heard that right. A sitting congresswoman tried to arrest comedy. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Is this the new normal? Politicians calling the police when their feelings get hurt. Stick around as we unpack this bizarre saga of thin skin and wasted taxpayer dollars.
This afternoon, she wrote, "You weren't joking. You hide your misogyny and your racism behind your jokes on ABC. This was a dog whistle to the violent left to assault me or worse." And you're misspelled, you're, of course.
Obama amnesty. Amnesty. Obama amnesty.
What kind of president needs a no card to answer a basic and predictable question?
Well, that's nice. She thinks I have fans. I guess that's good. But now listen, not only don't I condone death or any kind of threats against anyone, especially since I get dozens of them a week myself.
Picture this. Jimmy Kimmel, the late night king of sass, is on his throne, ready to dish out some spicy jokes. His target, none other than our favorite political firecracker, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Kimmel's got that mischievous twinkle in his eye as he drops this zinger. Where is Will Smith when you really need him? Oh snap, he's referring to MTG heckling President Biden during his State of the Union address. Now, let's break this down. Is it really that bad? I mean, it's not exactly a knock-knock joke, but it's not a death threat either. It's more like a playful jab, the kind of thing you'd hear at a roast. But apparently for MTG, it was the joke that broke the camel's back. Kimmel's been equal opportunity when it comes to political roasting. He's taken swings at everyone from Trump to Biden, from AOC to Ted Cruz. But somehow MTG thinks she's special. Maybe it's because she's got more controversial statements than a shock jock radio host. Speaking of which, let's take a stroll down MTG's greatest hits. She's called for a national divorce between red and blue states, compared COVID-19 safety measures to the Holocaust, and suggested that California wildfires were started by Jewish space lasers. I mean, come on, that's not even in the same galaxy as Kimmel's joke. So how would our dear Congresswoman respond to this comedic assault? A strongly worded tweet? A fiery press conference? Maybe a YouTube video where she punches a bag labeled liberal media? Nope, nope, and nope. Our girl MTG went straight for the nuclear option. She called the actual police. That's right, folks. She dialed those 3 magic numbers, 911. I can just imagine the conversation.
Compute this woman, you may remember, she's the one who endorsed fringe conspiracy theories and repeatedly indicated support for executing prominent Democratic politicians. Now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of. Wearing a mask while Senator Cruz replied to this, that was not written to him. Bizarre, 535 members of Congress can attend the State of the Union without wearing masks, still not good enough for Hollywood. If she's gonna report me to the police, if that's how she wants to play it, I'll report you right back. And I won't go to the police, I'll go to the Justice League.
Hello, police? I'd like to report a joke. Yes, a joke. No, it wasn't funny. Well, not to me anyway. It's like trying to arrest a cloud for raining on your parade. But wait, it gets better, or worse, depending on your view. MTG's call to the cops didn't exactly have the effect she was hoping for. Instead of shutting down the comedy, she opened the floodgates. Suddenly, every comedian with a microphone or a Twitter account saw a big, juicy target. It was like throwing chum in shark-infested waters. The memes started flowing, the jokes kept coming, and poor MTG found herself in the middle of a comedy tsunami. Ever wonder what happens when a politician tries to arrest comedy? Well, thanks to Marjorie Taylor Greene, we don't have to wonder anymore. Our favorite congresswoman decided to take her beef with Jimmy Kimmel straight to the Capitol Police. Can you imagine that phone call? Hello, officer. I'd like to report a joke assault. The perpetrator? A late-night TV host armed with a dangerous sense of humor. But here's the kicker. MTG's attempt to play comedy cop backfired spectacularly. Instead of shutting Kimmel up, she turned herself into comedy gold. Suddenly, every comedian with a microphone or a Twitter account saw a big, juicy target. It was like throwing a steak into a pack of hungry wolves. The jokes just kept coming. Now, let's get serious for a hot second. Can a joke really be a threat? Legal experts have been scratching their heads over this one. It's like trying to decide if a rubber chicken is a deadly weapon. The whole mess has sparked a debate about free speech and political satire. Is poking fun at politicians protected by the First Amendment, or should we start arresting stand-up comedians? Meanwhile, social media had a field day. Memes spread faster than gossip at a small-town barbecue. Twitter users competed to come up with the most ridiculous threats to report to the police. Officer, I'd like to report a knock-knock joke. It's threatening my sanity.
Note to Jimmy Kimmel, not only would Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband make quick work of you, but Rep. MTG herself would make quick work of you. Kimmel would not last too long if he were interested in engaging in unprovoked, terrible violence against this congresswoman.
First, new evidence tonight that we, you, the American people, all of us, we were all lied to.
Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election.
We were lied to by Joe Biden.
Hey, you know, all these crazy people in Congress, all of these low IQ individuals in Congress right now, there's one guy who's responsible for that, and that's Donald Trump.
But the real comedy gold? Other comedians piling on with even more MTG jokes. It's like they all got an early Christmas present. Late night hosts had a field day, turning MTG into their favorite punching bag. Kimmel especially couldn't resist. He kept throwing jabs at Greene, each one funnier than the last. It's like he found a comedy goldmine and just kept digging. The irony is thicker than peanut butter here, folks. In trying to silence comedy, MTG became the ultimate joke. Her attempt to shut down the laughter only amplified it. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It just makes the flames bigger and brighter. So, what does this whole circus say about politics and humor? It's like they're in a messy divorce, but they can't stop drunk dialing each other. Politicians want to be taken seriously, but sometimes they do things so ridiculous that comedians can't help but pounce. And when they do, well, let's just say it's not always pretty, but hey, at least it gives us something to laugh about, right? So folks, it looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene's attempt to police comedy blew up in her face like a whoopee cushion at a fancy dinner party. In trying to silence the laughter, she became the punchline herself. Talk about a backfire. But here's the million-dollar question. When politicians can't take a joke, who really loses? It's not just the comedians, it's all of us. Political satire is like a pressure valve for democracy, letting off steam before things get too heated. When leaders start trying to arrest jokes, we might as well wave goodbye to our sense of humor and our freedom of speech. So keep those jokes coming, people. Laughter might just be our best defense against the absurdities of politics. After all, if we can't laugh at our leaders, we might end up crying instead. And let's face it, nobody wants to see Marjorie Taylor Greene try to arrest our tears next.